Hey guys, this is Joel from the Fincastle Pokemon Gym. As each week rolls around, I'm always thinking about what I'll do here next, and I usually let what I'm playing dictate that. I have been playing online a lot with stuff like Ayano's Bellybolt EX, Hop's Zacian EX, and Zoroark EX, but I really haven't hit on my favorite of those guys yet, or at least my favorite version of them. So when I get that nailed down, I'm going to come back to those. However, as I mentioned in my last video, one of my most recent physical builds is Hydrapple EX. It's a deck that I wanted to build for a while. I just needed to track the cards down, which I've done. So before we get too far into Journey Together or any other upcoming set, I wanted to get this apple-eating King Ghidorah looking dragon a little bit of time. As always, let's take a quick look at the card, because this guy is awesome. Hydrapple EX is a Stage 2 330 HP grass type. He has an ability, 1 attack, he's weak to fire, and he has a 3 energy retreat cost. Now, his ability is called Ripening Charge, and it basically states that you may attach a grass energy, a basic grass energy, from your hand to any of your Pokemon anywhere on the field, and if you do, and he has any damage on him, you can heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. That's very good at the moment because it negates wherever your opponent might move damage with their Monkey Dory, or it can half the damage that Dragapult places with its damage counter portion of its attack. It also synergizes with the attack. The attack is called Syrup Storm. Syrup Storm does 30 damage plus 30 more damage for each grass energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So, not only is the ability a healer, but also an accelerator to raise that attack damage quickly. Now on to the quick math portion of the video. I started there with 6 energies. That gets you up to 210. That's in the range to get a lot of the basic EXs. It misses a couple of them. Obviously, 1 more energy will get all of the basic EXs. And you can see, as it adds up, you have to get to 10 energies to be able to hit that 330 mark, which will take out just about every Stage 2. I guess there are a couple 340s that it misses. And if you get all of the energy in the deck, which you'll get to see in the list in a moment, you can top out at a mere 480 damage. I think that's enough to cover anything that you have to face. Now, if you have not played this, you're probably thinking, how long will it take to get 10 energy down? Because that does seem like a lot, but I promise you in this deck, it can happen easily in 2 turns, and sometimes even on turn 2, just depending on how the setup goes. Speaking of setup, let's go ahead and get the list up here. You can see this is a very straightforward list, which is what makes it good because it's consistent. Now, his main partner is the Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, and my early builds of this had the Precious Trolley A-Spec and the Area Zero Stadium to try and speed this deck along, because my original thinking was I need a lot of basics down to be able to get all this energy down to be able to get the big knockouts. But as I've played it, I believe it's more important to get a quick Hydrapple than it is to get the quick energy attachments. If you can get 2 Hydrapple EX in play as quickly as you can tank hits while you build up the energy on your board and get it to the levels where it's just going to smash everything. So looking at just the Pokemon, I said before this was a simple list, and this line of Pokemon should demonstrate what I was saying. It's just the Hydrapple line, the 4 Ogerpon to help draw and accelerate the energy, and then a couple of Budew to slow things down at the beginning and allow you to get a couple of Hydrapple evolved. Now I only run 2 Dipplin, and yes, I've seen the list with the Festival Stadium that allows Dipplin to attack again with its ability. If it meets all those requirements, and my opinion on that is that scenario doesn't happen often enough for me to sacrifice the consistency of this list to make room for the extra stadiums and more Dipplin. I just want a powered up Hydrapple, and that's all. Now on to the items. I wouldn't say this is an item heavy list, but I do have a lot of ways to get everyone out early. Again, nothing complicated here, just shooting for consistency. Yeah, obviously more of the same with the supporters. You can basically shuffle in, you can dig, or you can catch something. And that's it. And also on this page you see the Grand Tree A-Spec, which I do like in here because you're not dependent on a TM to evolve early in the game. And as also with the Grand Tree, you're not affected by whether you go first or second. Just once everybody's down for a turn, you can get straight to a Hydrapple EX. And often with the candies and the other items, it really doesn't matter because you'll rare candy to Hydrapple anyway. but Grand Tree is just another layer of consistency in the deck. I don't know if I've mentioned it or not. I think I've only said it probably 8 or 9 times now. This list is pretty consistent. And enough of that. There's not much else to say about it. Let's just get to some games. This first game is against a Hops Zacian. Seen this played a couple ways. You can either play it as a sniping type deck, or you can play it with Duraludon. I think this is a Duraludon version. They went first. This is my opening turn. Using Ultra Ball to get out my first Applin. I've got that Iono in my hand, but they didn't really do a whole lot on their turn. I don't really want to refresh their hand. So I used Ogerpon, got that Professor's Research, and that got me in a much better position. Got another Applin. Gonna Ultra Ball away 2 Grass, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get out Budew, see if I can slow things down here a bit. I'm gonna bench him. I'm just gonna retreat that Ogerpon. Come up. I'm not gonna do any damage because Duraludon is resistant to grass, but that item locks them for this turn. They were able to research, get some guys out. Not much else. They knock out my Budew. You can see I've got Candy and Hydrapple in my hand with a research. So I send up that Applin and go ahead and Candy to my first Hydrapple and then research. You got an amazing hand. Gonna use Ogerpon's ability to get a grass down and draw. Boss doesn't do me too much there. Go ahead and use Hydrapple's ability. Get a second grass down, then I can play these bug catchers and see what we get. Had that Diplin in my hand, but I wanted to see if I got Hydrapple first, and I did. So I'm going to Rare Candy to my second Hydrapple EX. Play that second catcher and get another Applin. Still got 2 grass in my hand. So we'll use Teal Dance from Ogerpon. Get another grass down. We'll use the ability from Hydrapple and get another down. I've got that counter catcher that I can use, but there's really not a target I can take out that would be beneficial, so I'm going to go ahead and take out the Duraludon, get those energies off the board, and keep them from able to evolve to Archaludon. Back on their turn, they get a Zacian with the Hops Choice Band, and got their bench going. They're going to hit me from 120 and 30 to the Applin on the bench. Back to me, I top Iono. I'm going to go ahead and get down Teal Mask Ogerpon. Evolve that Applin to Diplin, gets him up to 80 HP. And we'll get Hydrapple back, and then I'm just going to shuffle him into the deck with Iono. And we got some more energy to work with here. So, I'm going to use Teal Mask Ogerpon. Attach him. There's that superior energy retrieval, which is going to give me a whole lot more energy to work with. We'll toss that other Diplin, get 4 back. This is where this deck just kind of can explode on anybody. Or we use the Ripening Charge to heal off that Diplin and attach an energy there. We'll use the second Ripening Charge and heal a little bit off of the active. He doesn't need 3 energies, but we'll see if he can bring his damage down. Get another on Teal Mask Ogerpon. Get another on the next Teal Mask Ogerpon. Get a bug catching set. Go ahead and attach to my hand to have that second Hydrapple ready to go. There's another energy and a Teal Mask, which I don't have room to bench at this point, don't need to. And as you can see, it's climbing up there. I'm now hitting for 330 damage, so I'll one-shot that Zacian and get a Super Rod out of my prizes. So back on their turn, they pulled up the Diplin, tried to get the play to knock it out with the Cramorant and could not get the band for it. They played it earlier on Zacians. They knock it out and hit the bench for damage. I get the Grand Tree. I don't need it at this point. I'm just going to use it to knock their stadium out. Get another Teal Mask down. Get a couple energies and a Diplin back into my deck with Super Rod. We use Ripening Charge. And I'm going to keep using that to heal the only damaged one that I have right now, the Hydrapple on the bench. We'll get 60 off him so far. That's all we can do this turn. Off Bug Catching set, we will get 2 more Grass Energies. Then we'll go down the Teal Mask Ogerpon line and attach those. There's that Diplin. The next Teal Mask, get another Grass down. We're doing an insane amount of damage at this point. It's 420, and that's with the resistance of Zacian. So we one-shot him, almost enough to one-shot him twice. And we'll take those prizes, and the Concede follows it pretty promptly. This last match is against a Flareon EX, I guess other Evolution EX box type deck. I'm going to pick this up as me starting my second turn. I did go first. They got to the Flareon but couldn't get the attack off. So I'm going to retreat and get a Buddy up, evolve to a Diplin. With my bug catching set, get out another Applin and my first Teal Mask Ogerpon. We'll use his ability, attach one, draw one. Gonna go ahead and Ultra Ball away, Ultra Ball, and that boss. Get another Teal Mask. And then we're just going to Itchy Pollen and item lock them. They seem to have a little bit of an awkward hand going on. They had absolutely nothing they could play, so they just passed back to me. So I'm going to use Teal Mask and attach another Grass. I'm going to go ahead and Iono them. I know it's an item-heavy deck, so hopefully I'll just shuffle them into another handful of items they can't play. Did get a Hydrapple with my Stretcher. I will go ahead and Rare Candy to him. The issue here is that it's going to be tough to get enough damage to take out the 270 or 260 at this point HP Flareon. Get as much energy down as we can, but it looks like it's one of those turns where we'll get it set up and then Itchy Pollen again to just lock them in. Got a lot of energy in hand, I just don't have quite as many mechanisms to get them all down right now. Attach my last one for my turn from my hand, and then we will Itchy Pollen, because all I can do right now is 180, and I just don't want to risk the Hydrapple right now. That item lock has kind of got them bound up. They did get the Sparking Crystal, and they're going to use it to knock out my Buddy. They don't have anything to attach to, so they just attach to the Flareon. Then back to my turn, top a bug catching set. We'll start things off with Ogerpon's Teal Dance. Get a Super Rod, don't need that yet. We'll use the second Teal Dance. And there is a Hydrapple. I've got Rare Candy in hand. So I got two Hydrapple going, and I will get two Grass off of this bug catching set. We'll try to climb that damage amount up to levels above 300, so this can just go on cruise control. We'll attach with the ability, and then we will Syrup Storm for 300. And off of these prizes, we get two more Grass Energy, which we love to see. You can see what was kind of banding them up is that they did not have a Terra in play, and they have all those cards with the Trumpet and everything. I guess they could not play. They kind of got that dam broken, got to a Vaporeon, but couldn't get him out of the way, assuming that Eevee on the bench would become a Flareon and one-shot me. Love to be able to catch that this turn. I don't have a boss or anything in my hand. So we'll just keep on piling on the energies. The Super Rod, Grass, and a Buddy in. And then we will research. Off of that, we get some more energy. Gonna Ultra Ball away Rare Candy and an Applin. Get that third Hydrapple so I can continue to accelerate energy here. We're going to be up into the 400s, I believe, on this turn. So use his ability to do that, and now we are at 420, and we'll one-shot this Vaporeon, and this is kind of on a downhill run, I'd say, from this point on. There's not much they can do. They play out a pretty long turn, I guess, to at least get the satisfaction of being able to one-shot one of these Hydrapple, which they do. They take a couple prizes, it comes back to me. I already have enough damage to get the win, so I'll be the good Southern gentleman and just go ahead and end the game. No need to prolong it any further. Last two prizes and a pretty decisive win. Now, I meant to point this out earlier, but forgot, so I'll do it here. One of the reasons that I think it is worth considering Hydrapple EX, other than the fact that he is just awesome, is that weakness to Grass is very relevant in the game at the moment, and will become even more so very soon. Charizard EX and Roaring Moon have been the main two with that Grass weakness, as is Greninja EX, although he's a little bit less prominent, or a lot less prominent probably. But now you have N's Zoroark EX that is weak to Grass, and very soon you will have Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX, which will also be weak to Grass. Now, if you're not familiar with that Grimmsnarl deck, it is very tanky, and it will be able to spam the use of multiple Monkey Dory, which means both healing it and damaging you. much like this Hydrapple EX deck, Grimmsnarl is just going to be vulnerable to decks that can one-hit it, and Hydrapple EX can do that very easily. And as far as its weaknesses go, other than Flareon EX, Raging Bolt, Goldingo, and Chidpow are the only ones that can one-hit Hydrapple. Zacian can also, but not the way it's being played at the moment. Those Archaludon builds can get Zacian to 330 damage, but there are a lot of pieces required to do that. So, like a lot of what I feature here, I doubt any of the gatekeepers are going to break this deck out at the next regional. But if you want a consistent, hard-hitting deck that has pretty good matchups, this is definitely worth trying. I would send a junior into an event with this deck in a heartbeat. Also locally, if you know your meta and it's not just straight Flareon EX decks, Hydrapple definitely would wreak some syrupy havoc in store tournaments. So definitely worth a try there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, get out and play at your local leagues and use this game as it was intended. Meet some new people, make some new friends, include that person that shows up alone and make them feel welcome too. Be sure to check back here every other Monday, and I'll keep spinning out whatever I'm playing. Until next time, be not afraid. Later.